Think podcast. This is episode 24. We calling this the Kobe edition. Today's date is November 8th. Shout out to my man Red. It's his birthday today. You already know when I point up, it's being overseen by my man Roy Tiger Brown. I'm your man Roy. I'm Gentleman Roy. Nice to meet you. And I'm sitting beside or on live wire with two great guys. Gentlemen, I'm not speaking for you. I'm only speaking of you. So introduce yourselves and say hi to the crowd.
No, I'm Brandon. I'm the one that love to joke and have a good time, and we'll keep y'all entertained during the show. Let's have a good time. But
Yeah,
it's a hell of a week this week. We definitely gonna discuss the election.
yeah. And I'm Jeremy. According to Elroy, I'm the serious one. I have no heart. You know what I'm saying? What I,
No,
I
he's the
call it
quiet
calm
one.
and cool and collected. That's what I call it.
He
Calm,
just sits
cool,
back and
collected.
let me fly off the handle and say all the crazy shit and
Yeah.
looks like the innocent guy. But if you've been somewhere in a cave, or you've been binge watching the Red Balloon Love or Leave 'em editions like I have. I've been watching them all week. I've been watching them. They are hilarious. But unless you've been seriously distracted by, finding the what's his face, the Bigfoot, we just had our election. It's goes without saying, I'm very disappointed. Not of the results. At the end of the day, he got the votes that he needed to be elected number 47. 45 turns into 47. I'm upset with participation. I was looking at a chart from 4 years ago when Biden ran and won, and compared it to when Kamala was the frontrunner or Democratic president nominee. Either you have problems with color or gender. The Democrat Party did not show up like they should have or could have. Either they didn't vote or they decided they'd rather go with the opposite party, which is really depressing. It's really sad to me. Is really that was the first take. Um, I went to bed early, knew it wasn't going to be definite by midnight, and when I woke up, I saw the results. I felt some kind of way. And for the next 4 years, we got to deal with this gentleman's ideology. He's going to try to leave a legacy. He's going to walk away, and you're going to remember the name Donald Trump. He already has plans. I don't want to go too deep into it. There's more I want to touch on it, but I want to hear what the fellas think. How you guys feel about it?
You want to go first, Jeremy, or me?
No, I'm the
Hey,
calm
go,
guy.
go
See,
Jeremy. You go
I
first
gotta
because
bounce back.
Brandon's gonna go
Okay,
off.
I
He gonna break his headphones. I'm almost
hey,
positive.
I didn't know he felt that strong about it. But man, I take it as what it is, bro. I know we do our job and try to like vote for who we believe is the right candidate. But at the end of the day, like we here, nothing gonna change, right? So I approach things as okay, we here, so what can I do for myself? Right. So I try to find that silver lining and what I can align with to make my life and my family better. I actually think I think it's gonna be okay, man. I don't believe in that hype where all we going down. I think it's gonna be some positives, possibly. But the biggest thing I fear, and we can touch on it later, is the immunity, right? I don't know what the concept of what they're trying to push, but that scares me of giving the cops immunity. I don't understand it. I haven't seen too much of reasons about it, so I don't know what the details is about it. But that word it scares me, because with the climate that we're in now, it's just something I don't want to have to go through, So
And we'll be touching on
but
that later on in the
yeah,
show too as well.
but like I
Uh,
say, I'm gonna end it with I view it as we here, and what can you do to better yourself now that you're here? Because you can't change it in the next 4 years. So that's how I feel about
I can see
For me,
Brandon turning green.
Nah. For me, I feel it. I feel this way. Uh, we are here. Decisions already been made by people. Even though they didn't vote, they still made a decision, and they don't feel the impact of the decision yet, but they will, because a lot of people. What I've heard in the past 48 hours from a lot of people, from different all types of people, I heard people say, "Donald, I voted for Donald Trump because my 401 when he was president, my 401k was high. My gas prices was low. Groceries was cheap." I've heard people say he can slow the disposition of white people in this country. That's why I voted for him. I heard people say we on the winning team. I've heard people say we on the winning team. We getting winners over here. Roseanne Barr, Hulk Hogan,
Kid
multiple
Rock.
people. Kid Rock say that. And I think like those people are had racist acts. And like for me, like-minded individuals always stick together. If your main parties, that's what I fear the most. If your main party supporters have said things, disrespectful things, one senator that's on his support list has been quoted as saying like they need to reverse Brown versus the Board of Education. That is one thing that's like we know what your rhetoric is, and that people like to say you're not racist. We're for all people here. No, you're not. No, you're not. I know what I see with my own eyes what you do, your quotes and everything. People talk about freedom, they talk about all this stuff, right? But a lot of selfish acts has transpired. I've seen like news clips. Kids are now saying to women or girls in school, "Your body, my choice." Like that's things that come from this, that transpire from this, that grow from this. It's further hate, further misogynistic things, that ideas that people have and they act, the treatment of women, the treatment of I'll say this, disenfranchised people. They talk about mass deportation that don't realize it's going to cost money, taxpayer money. And I think I saw it's $10,000 per person that they want to deport out of here. That's roughly $315 billion they got spent. So that's money right there. That's not going to help the economy. You're going to spend more. And they think like, oh, bringing. I, I will get into all these topics later, but I just feel like a lot of stuff is going to transpire from this that are not going to be good. And like Jeremy said, there are going to be some good things, but I feel like it's going to be majority bad things. So I am in that same mindset. I don't look for I've never been one of those people that look for the government to give me some assistance or anything. I look for what I can do. How can I better protect my family, provide for my family, provide for myself? That's what I think. And that's why I'm taking that from this.
So the election is the hierarchy is the topic, but we can go on so many sub levels regarding the election. But before we do that, Jeremy, I want to kind of run back with what you said when he was elected the first time. What 2016?
Mhm.
I said to myself, this is an eye opener, if anything, for people to not get so comfortable with who's in office, but be prepared to deal with when the opposition or people with different mindsets that don't have your best interest in mind take control. And that's what happened in 2016. And at that time, I was working for the government. Well, I was a government, military government defense contractor. I worked for them. And having a Republican in office means that they're going to push money towards the defense, strengthening our militaries. Whereas with the Democrat Party, we kind of defund them to a certain extent. There's not enough, not as much money being put into the defense. So for me being in that position, I was just like, hell, this is great for me. And as far as my finances, I'm educated enough and knowledgeable enough, so to say, that I started doing things to secure my future, my whining days, my retirement days that he couldn't touch. So again, for me, I said finding the positive out of a what I want to call a bad situation. I'm not going to put it on you guys. I just saw that it was an eye opener to not wait for the government to take care of you, that you got to take care of yourself. You gotta stack your own eggs, because even for me, and I'm the oldest out the group, Social Security might not be around when it comes time for me to collect. But yet they're taking money out on my check, and that's just the government was borrowing money from their funds to pad whatever beliefs or visions they had with the money. So I'm paying for the people that's collecting right now, and it might not be there for me when I retire. And this has been said for years. So retirement wise, I'm not stacking any chips with Social Security. If it's there, great. It's going to exceed what I planned. But yeah, it's definitely, again, it's a second eye opener, but it's going to be a big one because, again, he wants to leave a legacy. When he walks away, you're going to remember the name Donald Trump, good, bad, or indifferent. And so that was my rebuttal. If you guys don't have a rebuttal, I want to go to one level of it, and it's not just in a random order. What could the Democrat Party have done better to secure the victory? For me, I didn't like the celebrities they were reaching out to. I don't think they were to some they are role models, but I don't think they were great representatives that needed to be seen in stage and on stage with Kamala Harris. I mean, Sexy Red, Glorilla. Okay, she was trying to go after that demographic, but at the end of the day, what I saw was these are not the right people to, hey, encourage you to vote. And the people they were probably going after, they were just probably happy, popping a perk or sipping lean or whatever the fuck, and not realizing that they should have been getting up and going out to vote. So the star power that they tried to use, I think it worked against them. You got them twerking on stage saying vote for Kamala Harris. That may be what turned some of Democratic voters away.
I don't think that necessarily played in that because you see Republicans, they did the same thing. And there was more athletes, former comedians, wrestlers, rock stars, if you want to say that. They had them speak. You had a former football player, Brett Favre, do things. That's they did a lot of. They went more the music route. They went more the football route. They did a lot of celebrity stuff on both sides. To me, what they really should have done is spread, like do a wide spread of their policies, so nobody's confused. Nobody feels like they're picking the lesser of two evils, because that's really what stops people from voting. Nobody wants to feel like that. Either way, I'm gonna lose. You got in this country 200 and roughly 232 million people that are eligible to vote, and only 168,000 or 68 million that are registered voters, and they still didn't even vote. All of them still didn't even vote. You're missing like 20 million, roughly 20 million. I'm rounding up, 20 million votes, and that's a lot of people that feel. At least I think they feel I'm picking the lesser two evils. And I think if you make, instead of what they tried to do, Trump did this, he was this to the Central Park Five and that and all that, instead of just spreading the policies, making it feel like, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not here for him. That's what it felt like too many times. Even during the debate, it was back and forth bickering. She cheated on this. She was a home wrecker. Um, Trump did this. He's worried about cats and dogs. It's too much of the entertainment aspect, the reality TV stuff, when it should just be about the politics. Because the politics is what decides people. That was encouraging people. And I was looking back at the numbers. Kamala Harris has more people voted for her than voted for Barack Obama. voter turnout has been low the past 4 or 5 elections. Voter turnout has been super low. That's why Joe Biden surprisingly has a record for most people voting for one person. 81 million. That's the highest it's been in. That's a lot of people voting for him. And still, that's not even all the registered voters. And that's not even all the eligible voters that can vote to get out here and make a change. Like that's my thing. I feel like you got to make the people encouraged, and I
So
don't think there's
to kind of double down on what my statement about the star power that the Democrats use, you know, you mentioned Kid Rock, you mentioned Hulk Hogan, and we can talk about their indiscretions, but their indiscretions, if you want to take Hulk Hogan as an example, I'm sure if I say his biggest indiscretion was, you know, dropping the N word and, you know, saying how he felt about, you know, black men dating his daughter, the constituents for the Republican Party would agree with that. So they support that. Whereas I was totally, I don't want to say embarrassed, but and disappointed is not even a word. But again, you putting these, I don't know what the genre of rap this is in, but is it trap, whatever? I don't know, but having them as representatives to encourage the vote, I think was not a great idea. It sent the wrong message.
that's
I tried to back it up and think, well, who would I put in there? And honestly, I don't know. And you're gonna laugh at me. The first person that popped in my head was Chris Brown. And
no.
I'm
I
sorry,
don't.
I was really grabbing for straws. I couldn't find nobody.
I don't think they needed celebrities at all. The point was to focus on the policies. We're not here to be entertained. We're here to know you have our government has our best interests. That's what was missed. And I think even if people don't vote, right? People didn't vote for Kamala, didn't make a vote at all. You still made a choice because the other side won. And we know it's racist people on that side. We know it's racist people on that side. We know it's people that bias on that side. So you still made a choice. You supported the other side.
Okay.
You still made a choice. And that's the problem I take with it. That's the problem I take with it. People made that choice. Like having money in your 401k is more important than having racist people in power. People who will make the judgment on your life because of the way you look. That's more important. And that's the thing that kind of is it's upsetting in a way, but it's eye opening. So I don't even feel the emotion of anger from it.
Okay.
I hear a lot of people say, fuck all the Donald Trump supporters and all that. But no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm gonna say thank you because you opened my eyes.
Point taken, but it kind of strayed away from my question.
Yeah, yeah,
What could we have done to and had it the situation been reversed, I just for topic's sake, I would have been like, what could the Republican Party have done to, you know, made a change? But Jeremy, it's on you now. What you shaking your head for? You
yeah. He don't agree
I
with what
didn't.
you said.
hey
Nah, I didn't
Yeah,
stray.
he
I
answered.
didn't.
He
I'm
yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
nah,
I'm internet tough right
nah,
now because
nah,
you there and I'm here.
nah, no. I didn't stray away from your question. I said they didn't need celebrities. Take
Yeah.
away the celebrities at
Oh no,
all.
what I said, what could they have done better? You were just rebutting to me. But the question was, what do you
Take
think
away the
they could have done?
celebrities.
Take away celebrities?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's always been the formula. I
As
mean,
always, and I was gonna add on that. Like, I don't think they can take it away because there's always been a formula and it's always been based on what works and based on I don't know the numbers per se, but I think I heard they were trying to get the younger crowd to come out and vote, right? So that's why they decided the maggots and the sexy red. I completely would agree with Elroy. I disagree. I did not like it. It was distasteful. I hated seeing them up there like dancing. Like that's not what the majority of black community is. So it's like, why you having being that rather than us, you know? So, but what I think they could do better is I think a little bit better marketing. Kamala had only had like 2 months to really, you know, like put herself out there. You know how they handled the whole Biden to transferring to Kamala. It was not tasteful, and most people want to be on a winning team, and that felt like a defeat, right? That felt like a when they shifted over, it put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth who probably was on the fence or even was voting for want to go for Kamala. I think most people love to be on a winning team, right? Um, Another thing, I agree with you, Brandon, how you said that the policies. I heard it numerous of times. It felt like the Democrats kept trying to make their whole like approach was trying to make Trump look bad as a bad person, right? But that always been a thing for Trump. So that's not new news. It's not nothing new, right? So people to hear that is whatever for the most part. I think they should have focused on their policies and what they can do for the people. You know, like Biden had not Biden, Obama had a slogan. What was the slogan again that he came out when he said? What did Kamala have this year? I don't remember her slogan. And this recent, right? What's at least Trump had a slogan. It's a trademark. Make America great again. Like it or not, it's a trademark, right? I forgot what Obama had, but it was something he had like it was a
Free chicken and
trademark.
beer
Like
for those who vote for me.
no, bro.
No, it
No.
wasn't.
You
I'm
can
the
you
silly
can
one.
Google it. Yeah, you can Google it. He actually had a trademark. Like um we don't even know what come out with
Brandon,
this
that's
year,
your
right? So
forte. Google.
yeah. Yeah, so
Okay, okay.
yeah. But
What was
that's what I mean, like as far
Obama's
as
trade phrase?
yeah, but we don't have she didn't have one here. So I say to answer your question again, Elroy, marketing, it was bad timing and how they handled the Biden transferring over to Kamala, and then the attacking Trump rather than focusing on their own policies. I think
Yeah,
those two things would have changed a lot.
yes, we can. That was
Yeah, yeah.
Obama's.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yes, we simple. Yes, we can. But you know, it's catchy. Like it was. So we didn't have. Well, they didn't have that this year. So that hurt.
So
I know, I
one
believe.
thing and another thing, as it comes to me, Kamala had the opportunity to really get out there and speak, and she didn't do enough interviews. And when I did watch her, and she was asked a question, and game recognized game. I'm good at stalling if I need to be. Huh? What you say? Hey, y'all, hold on a second. Example. Um, she was in an interview being asked questions, and she was buying for time. She would go with this. Thanks for asking that. I appreciate that, and I've given it a lot of thought. It was just she said it the same thing, different ways, where she was buying. It's like she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready for these questions that she should have known that she was going to be asked.
And that's not all her fault though. Like her
No, it's
team
not.
should be held responsible for that as well. You know, she should
Ex-
be prepared for those questions. You know, so but I agree.
So the next thing I want to go, and I got several, so I want to do one and then
Yeah.
pass it along, and then if it comes back to me, I'll give my second one. But I think you guys are probably gonna say one of the ones that I got in my head. With it being official that Donald Trump is in office, how is it going to affect the world? And I want to start with saying Ukraine, they're going to lose funding. He's been against it from the beginning, and Putin is going to take over the Ukraine. That's going to happen. That's guaranteed. As with the Democrats, we were shelling out money to help them sustain the fight. They're about to lose all that funding right now, and Ukraine will become under this Russia or the Soviet Union again.
Uh, well, I don't know if you know. Now Putin wants to go to the table to negotiate.
Hmm.
So that's a thing that has happened. You know, that came out today. But to me,
Thank God
I
it was
just
today because I feel bad saying that. Like, damn. Okay, I
uh,
was at work all day.
but the thing that I think is going to happen, I think we're going to be end up being more divided because look at it. Look at how people responded. Women now, even though you had vast majority of white women voted for Trump, a lot of women in this country now feel totally disrespected, and a lot of their supporters, guys who hold women to a high standard, feel disrespected. So I think you'll have more divide. Maybe Trump can change that. Maybe he'll change his ways. I don't know. But I think you're going to end up having more divide than ever. There's going to be a lot of money in people's pockets, I'm sure, because of tax cuts and billionaires and all that stuff. But I think you're going to have more divide than ever. There won't be no sense of unity because I think people who are racist, who flat out racist, feel more emboldened like than ever before because that's the rhetoric that's out now. I don't think it'll be a sense of unity. You talk about the immunity with cops and all that stuff. It scares people. This is a scary time, and I think it's going to be more divided than ever.
Hey, Brandon, can you touch more on because you mentioned it's going to be more divided because of women, but from what the charts I seen, it was I was kind of shocked that even with the Caucasian women, it was a close race, like maybe 48-52. That's kind of close in my eyes to seeing that the whole rhetoric was Trump did not respect women, you know. Um, so if you saying divide, you mean as far as like racially division or socially or economically? Like what kind of division are you referring to?
I think more socially because you have white women that voted against Donald Trump. You have a vast majority of black men, black women that voted against Donald Trump. Latinos, they were majority favor for Trump, but some wasn't. And people politic views in today's climate are very gun ho.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody's you took people talk about that's why I mean that's why I say social because today's climate if you don't stand for one side you stand for the other. So that's why I feel
Yeah.
like it's going to be more divided than ever.
I mean, you can be right. The only thing is seeing that we're in Illinois, I don't think we would feel that. So our viewpoint is gonna always be one sided, and we can't really see um we can't bounce it out because we don't live in the states that's like we're a democratic state, right. So what like maybe a Texas or another state would see, we can't see that, so we never have that reference point. so
Why
so
why
where
are we why are we a democratic state?
I can't answer the question. I don't know. Maybe you
Because
can inform me.
Chicago supports all the other cities in this state, and we are vast Democrat here. That's what I don't know if you've seen that chart. If you look at Illinois,
Yeah, I seen the chart.
it's a lot of red, one big blue, and
Hmm.
that
I
stands in
seen it.
Chicago, and that controls our state. That's
Yeah.
one. But but to say we won't feel it, we will feel it because everywhere around us is red.
No, but I think we want to feel it because we like Chicago is what's the top three cities in America, right? So we gonna be in our own bubble, you know. So it's not like people come here, but like our laws, our state laws, gonna be our state laws, right? So and then as far as like we won't see, I don't think we're gonna see like certain things that other places will see, like a you can like a Texas or I don't think we'll see those. So I think our viewpoint is gonna always be inflated one way, and I don't know how. I'm trying to figure out how to balance that out to get more perspective. But it just seemed like yeah, we're gonna be one minded, view one way. I don't know.
But we're not just one city though, or one state though. There are football teams or football players that think differently. There are football players that think that way. They gonna be divided. There are there are LeBron. He's one basketball player. There are other basketball players that think differently. That's what I mean. It's not gonna be a sense of we can agree to disagree. It's gonna be a sense you stand over here, I'm gonna stand over here. That's what I mean by that.
I don't think it's gonna be that big, man. I think this election gonna phase out like it always has. You know, yeah, I think a year or two, maybe the talk keep up, but after going to the second year, I think it's gonna be different conversation. I think people gonna go on with their lives like they have been doing for the last 200 years of elections. So
I hope you're right.
Yeah,
I hope you're right.
I hope so
So
too.
I think there was divide with Donald Trump's first election. We just saw the cracking of it. One major thing was COVID-19, how he didn't believe in it, and his followers followed suit. Had he been masked up, wash your hands and all that stuff, they would have followed suit, and we wouldn't have had as many deaths as we did. The fact that they tried to, it's called COVID-19, but we didn't shelter in place until till March 20th. He tried to keep it hidden. He did exuberate some of his racist views then, and unfortunately, he kind of returned with some of those. Last time he took shots at Puerto Rico during a bad hurricane. Now he's calling it a floating pile of garbage. So his feelings about Puerto Rico hasn't changed. I guess he can't find a way to profit from it. I see a lot of resources there. That used to be, you guys know, used to be the major hub for pharmaceuticals, and it's died over the years. Who's to say that we couldn't bring that back? Think there's something we have access to it. I think there's something of value in it, but he doesn't, and he's very well letting that be known. Donald Trump also made it cool to show your racist side, in my opinion, during his first tenure as president. And again, and I like to use analogies. This motherfucker gonna sniff coke and he gonna strut around like a fucking peacock for the next 4 years. He he's going to undo things that's been put in place. Another thing that I think is all the refugees we took in. They're going to be deported. That
Yeah.
that's not an assumption. He's been totally against that from the start. He's going to shut down the borders, which I'm kind of in favor for. We shouldn't just let people in willy nilly. We should be screening people. These people literally walked from Venezuela, they marched through Mexico, and then they come here. There should be better policies, procedures in place to give them an opportunity. They should be screened. Right now we're just opening up the doors. Hey, you want to come in? There's been rapes conducted by them, and I'm not bashing them. There's been rapes. There's been robberies. There's been all types of violence because they're hungry. They're not getting the resources, so that's what happens. You get hungry, you start taking. I think
I
he
got a
could have been.
question. I got a question off of that.
Yeah.
With because it's gonna be mass deportation. That's his plan day one. With that being said, do you believe that all the stories that went out, they took over buildings, they killed people, they murdered people, their violence is high. That's the rhetoric that's put out. Do you believe that was done with intention? All the resources that was invited, provided to them, all that. Do you believe that
Is
was done
rape
with intention?
is rape a necessity?
No. No. Listen to what
No,
I'm
no,
what
no,
I'm
no, no. I mean, what we provided with them, most of them was shelter and food, but that wasn't enough because they knew the shelter that they had wasn't forever, and they were out there. They were starving. There's stories, and I can't confirm it, that I don't know how, but they acquired cards and don't have a driver's license.
that's what I'm asking. Do you believe all that stuff, all those people were brought over here with an intention at all?
No, they
Whether it's
came.
to
No, they
vote,
came. They came here for a better life. The majority came for a better life.
not them. the party that the current people that we have in power, you think they let them come over here with an intention, whatever
Yeah,
that intention
to
you
be
think it
to,
was?
to be future voters. Yes, they all
Right?
went to safe haven states, and hey, I did this for you. All I need you to do is vote for Joe Blow. They were brought here to be future voters.
They went to Texas and then were sent here from Texas by their government of
Right,
Texas.
because Texas is a Republican state.
See,
How they got in?
I think so I think they wasn't sitting here from the Texas governor. I think he wanted to deport them, but he lawfully could not. So they had to release them and or send them to the Democratic states.
You remember the story? He chartered a plane for them to get here.
Because according to what I thought, the federal government wanted them to give housing to them, and they said no, 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 we don't want them here at all. Since we can't deport them or lock them up, then you take them. That's the understanding that I gathered from what was going on.
Me too, and that's pretty much what it was. Because again, they all went to safe haven states, and safe haven states are Democratic states.
So you believe they were sent here with an intention by our current power, Jeremy?
To answer your question, yes, but I think the intention was to show that we don't want to keep them here. So if we can't deport them, then you gotta take them, and all the funding will be on you now. So basically, trying to they there was a tactic to try to have the blue state people citizens turn against their state, you know. But I mean, it was I think both parties played a major part in the immigration issue. I wouldn't say issue with the subject we're talking about. Both parties. I think I agree with Elroy. They came in as to be future voters, and so then Republicans try to reverse it by saying, okay, if we can't deport them to stop this, then we're gonna send them to you guys so we can turn your people against you to vote for us.
And you know
You
what?
know.
That's probably what happened.
Mhm.
That's probably why we didn't have so many voters, because the Democratic Party allowed them in, and they were intruding on people. They didn't. It turned into resentment. But probably those people that are resented, they didn't have those. They didn't have any refugees in their neighborhoods. Wilmette, Winnetka, whatever place like that. They were in Chicago. They were downtown. They were South Side. And I'm just speaking from Illinois. They wasn't treading on their area, but it did leave a sour taste in their mouth. I do agree. Maybe there's another point I didn't think about, why the voter turned out the way it did.
I had another question off of that because the plan is to end birth right as well for tourists and marriage as well for to gain citizenship. That's the plan too. What do you guys think of that?
What do you
Can
mean,
you explain
far
that
as
plan? Yeah.
marrying somebody just to stay in the United States?
Just to become so
A
they can
citizen,
become a
yeah,
citizen. Yeah.
right.
And then birthright as well. So if you're born here with parents from another country.
I They've been doing it for years. People have been getting married to, probably with the intention to stay, but there's been so many productive members of society, and I'm sure some of it was love. I can't throw a number out there. It was genuine love. That was just a perk of falling in love with that naturalized citizen. Um, Again, we've been doing it for I don't know how long. Why stop it now? I mean, if you really want to come down on it, make the screening process more in depth, really dig into it and make sure that it is for love and not, hey, I'm gonna slide you this cash. All you got to do is give me 2 years of your time on paper. I'll sleep on the couch, or I'll sleep down the street, but let's play this game so I can get my papers and you can go on about your life. That and I don't, I'm not talking on my ass when I say that. I actually know a lady that did that to, I guess it doesn't matter who it was, somebody that wasn't from the United States.
Allegedly.
There was a there was a there was a there was a
Allegedly.
cash there was a cash there was a cash agreement to get him make him a naturalized citizen, and they didn't even live together. Or maybe that's what she just told me. I don't live with him. Be my friend.
Yeah.
No, that's just a joke. But no, we weren't dating anything, and she told me about this arrangement that they had, and that was just as on a friendly conversation. So it's out there. But he's going to crack down on that. Again, he wants to build a monument to what he can do to shape the world in his vision. And when I say a monument, I don't mean a physical monument. His name will linger on from things that he changed for a long time. Even if a Democrat gets in and reverses whatever, it's already going to be in place for, you know, 4 years already. Because I know fresh out the gate 2025, he already got a list of what he wants to change. So
Oh,
he's building a figurative monument for himself, and it's going to kick off in the beginning of 2025. The day after he's inaugurated is it's going to be it's like dealing cards. I want to do this. I want to do that. No, literally, he's getting ready, and he's going to hit you
they
just
hey,
like that.
day one gonna be epic.
And all those cards and all those cards are going to be skip you and draw fours.
What you think, Jeremy?
um, I want to see the law because if he going completely, I'm not sure like if he's trying to basically just stop it and just put a hard stop on it. Because if so, it's gonna directly affect me, right? But or is he trying to put more um longer period of time? I don't know what they're trying to change on it, so I really can't speak on that behalf because I don't know too much about it. Do you know what they're gonna do?
Uh,
What they planning on doing?
I don't know any details. I just know that's a part of the plan. Now,
Yeah,
for you though, you guys are already married. I don't think that can affect you.
I don't think
I
he can
mean,
go back and change
Yeah.
things.
yeah,
It's
but
like a
the thing
from here on forward.
I'm no, I'm worried about because how it work. Like, because right now in this process we have like a PR, right? But getting a PR is different from having your citizen, right? So that part of it, the latter part
Mhm,
is
mhm,
I can this can directly affect that, you know.
mhm.
We can
Um,
always hide
so
Josephine if necessary.
that's-
For all sakes and purposes, her name is Josephine. We can hide her.
Hey,
We will move her around like the Underground Railroad.
yeah.
Roy quick, boy. He didn't even say her name. He like, quick, we got you, we got you, we got you. We
We
don't even
got
know
you.
what you're talking about.
I saw a meme on Facebook. Hey, can you share the directions, the map of the Underground Railroad again? Eh, so, which leads me into my next question, my next topic under the election and the results. What do you fear most about Trump being in office for the next 4 years? And I'm actually going to go last on this because I'm still not sure. But let me hear from you guys. What do you fear most about him being back in control?
I only fear the divide because I remember routinely where cop, and I think in his time it was a lot of cop killings that and Black Lives Matter came out, and um, Elon Musk is one of them too, because he had a sign that said "All lives matter." We love. It was like we white people are great or something like that, and then it was like Black Lives Matter. Hate
No,
white people.
Blue Lives Matter was a phrase being thrown around, and I think people
No,
miss.
Elon Musk had a sign that was specific. It was about how Black Lives Matter
He
said
had he had a sign that was what?
specific. That
Okay,
it was specific. You know what I said,
I
but
know. I'm just messing with
You know what I
you know
mean?
what I said. You know what I said. But
you. Nah, I
it was
mean,
uh, it had that. It was something about how Black Lives Matter was saying we hate white people, and that had nothing to do with it. And
right,
that's I
exactly.
remember his response uh, specifically about that uh, was arrest those thugs and those hooligans. Like his response was about that, arrest them. And to me, that's why my greatest fear. It's like the immunity part of it when that stuff happens, because it inevitably will happen. That stuff has been going on for years. When that stuff happens, with the immunity part of it, what happens then? Nobody goes to jail. Nobody's punished. It goes back to like 1959 or the stuff in Detroit or the stuff in 1967. That type of stuff, and like that.
At Hampton, all that good
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
but no punishment
Well,
came
not
down.
good shit.
No punishment came down, and lives were lost unjustly. That's my greatest fear with
I
it.
mean, they went so far as the police officers when they assassinated Fred Hampton, and I use the word assassinated. They were taking photos of the body. Those pictures were in the newspaper, like literally, like they had a deer, like they caught a deer, and everybody was around it wanting to take pictures. Like they caught a real big fish, where at that time it was acceptable. And
That's two people I would never. And people speak greater than Lyndon B. Johnson and J. Edgar Hoover. They speak greater than, and those two people are racist as shit, and throughout history, and those events prove that.
oh man,
So
he put files on everybody of color that he thought was a threat. Everybody
Yeah.
had a file, legal phone taps. I'm sure they wanted to shut them up because they were speaking out and they weren't afraid, and they were gathering an army, so to say, or a crowd of believers. Like, yeah, he's speaking up. Let me support him. They was like, let's shut them motherfuckers up quick. And when I think about shutting them up, immediately Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they were silenced. Jeremy, what do you fear about the election results and what he might do?
Okay, first I want y'all to give me time and hear me out first because it's mostly wishful thinking. Um, and like I'm hoping all this stuff that we see now on YouTube or TV is more so strategy and like fear based strategy, because I believe like stuff like this has been happening forever. And I think different parties pick to choose when they want to display things to us, right? Because I just Googled to see like when did Black Lives Matter come out? Like when did the first was it? But first was like organized, and according to Google, this can be wrong. It says 2013. You know,
Hmm.
is when they organized Black Lives Matter, right? So in that time, we had a Democrat and party. So and Trump wasn't actually president in 2016, 17. Now I do agree that Trump being president do bring the people out the woodworks to to be more, to act more according to how they always been, behind closed doors. But I think the whole like cop shootings and stuff like that always been here, even through all the presidents, right? And I feel like since a Republican came up, well, aka Trump at the time, they started to like show these things more to use it as a tactic, right? Not to say that it maybe did not increase more, but I feel like the government kind of like play coy with their people, you know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that it's not true, but I really believe that. But to answer every question, my biggest fear is the police immunity, right? I don't know what's it gonna look like. I don't know being here in Illinois, like the climate is it going to be worse or better? I don't know, but I'm hoping that the things that we've seen in the past, it happened in the same rate, or same, the same rate, and it's not like something that's going to increase or decrease. I hope it decrease, but I'm hoping like it's not something just because he's in a seat that we're going to feel it a lot more. I'm really hoping it's just a decoy that they use, a strategy they use to like win elections, right? And it's always been here, and we can focus on trying to stop it all together. And that's my viewpoint on it.
Okay,
well,
so
Yeah,
I don't want to cut
yeah,
you off, Roy, but
go ahead.
my what I said was his response to Black Lives Matter.
Hmm.
Like that's where I took that at. That's what I remember. It wasn't. everybody love to say, like, when people say Black Lives Matter, you're racist, but it's not what it's meant. And I don't want to change too much of the subject, but it's just like it says we matter too. That's what matters. Like our lives when we die in the street, it's just like it's a news feed, and it ain't. It's more valuable than that. That's my thing with that. But
Yeah.
go
Okay.
ahead, Roy.
So, and I'm sure we can agree about this. Black Lives Matter gained prominence 2019, 2020, when we had George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, stuff like that. And we just wanted to say, you're killing us with no malice. Black Lives Matters. That's what we were trying to say. Not that we want to be treated any more special than the other person. And then these other people responded, well, blue lives matter. Yes, they do. And all lives matters. Yeah. But right now we're talking about Black Lives Matter because you're acting like it doesn't matter. And basically, that was our yes we can slogan. We weren't saying it in an angry way, but it's just like, look, our lives matter just as much as it is yours. So just because we put black in front of it doesn't mean like you anybody else doesn't have no value. They turn cops into a race, and I guess it is to a certain extent. But we were just saying we're important too. We contribute, and everybody just took it as like we were trying to just really take this back to affirmative action and stuff like that. It was no, it was just like stop treating us like fucking game
Eh,
and hunting us.
ain't that the most narcissistic thing like you ever heard? Like I said, my life matter. Somehow that says yours does.
Right,
Ain't
that's what they
that
took
ain't
from
that
it.
crazy?
That's what they
We
took from it.
they
Yeah.
turn they
I
turn
agree.
that they turn people saying that into a hate group. Like that's
So
Yeah.
crazy.
that was a last minute point. I got two more. One doesn't need the first one doesn't need explanation. It is what it is. The first one is abuse of power. I'm sure when he gets convicted the next day he's going to pardon himself. Well, no, he'll pardon himself the day after inauguration. And I'm sure he's going to argue that as president he's beyond what sentence or what judgment was laid down on him, abuse of power, and he's gonna do that in so many other ways. But the thing I fear most is that we're not going to learn to that we have to unite. We're still going to be separated. We're still going to be fighting over blocks that we don't own, uh streets that we don't own, areas we're not going to be we're not going to unify like we should. We're still going to stay divided, and that's going to make it even harder for us in these next few years. That's my biggest fear. I wish I knew and I don't want to say a black revolution, but a change was going to come where we can put all the bullshit differences we have. He's red and red. He's wearing red. He's wearing blue. He stays across the tracks. I learned that I never heard the across the tracks only in a TV show, but when I was in Houston, when I was in my Uber, the Uber driver was telling me, yeah, these guys fight, and the reason why is because they live on opposite ends of the tracks. So we find every minuscule way in the world to be at odds with each other, to take our lives, to hey, I'm gonna get him by raping his sister, or I'm gonna burn his house, just because of territorial lines. A train track decides if your life means something or not in Houston. I just wish that we could unify and stay unified. When the Rodney King riots happened, the Bloods and Crips, they initiated a treaty and it didn't last long. It was nice to see it happen. We just as a whole just need to unify. We and I look at it, I think we're the only most prominent race that we're not unified. You might jump in and mention a certain ethnic group, but all I really see as us is that we at odds over bullshit. Just because, you know, some girl likes another guy that stays 2 blocks over, and most wars are initiated with a woman involved. That okay, we at war with them, and she walks back and forth, and she's still initiating, and she's parading the guy in their face or whatever, and we feel like we got to retaliate. Somebody totally not involved in that situation are looking at him because of the territorial lines in which they stay in. And I think that's like the dumbest shit. So in the background in my head, the song "Colors" by Ice-T is playing because it's ridiculous. It's the
The
best song to define the stupidity and why we're divided. Colors.
the thing the greatest example is that is Black Wall Street though. You see what happened when they came together.
Yes, they burned it
They
down.
can they, before that before that that was a thriving community. There was a it was eclipsing mainstream America. The economy was thriving. Everybody was skilled labor. Like they were thriving as our own community before got accused of certain things, and then the Klan came and burned them down, dragging us through the street, that type of thing. But that's what happened when you can come together. That's a perfect example there. You come together like that, you can do whatever. Because no, regardless if they try to erase it from history, we built this country as well as other people. No, our blood is on that ground just as much as other people. So
Well,
that's my thing with that.
we don't support each other.
Yeah, we don't.
Um, and I think I mentioned this before. Killer Mike the Rapper, he has a special, a 5 or 6 episode special on Netflix. His first episode was about how long the black dollar lives or survives or thrives in the black neighborhood. I think it was like a day and a half. We're quick to get money and go downtown to, you know, name whatever store. I got nothing against them when we have neighborhood boutiques with just an comparable fashion just as well as it's not the trend of the year. There's some real nice places if you throw a rock far enough because they're so spread out apart that you can go and get dressed and look presentable, instead of, 5 different patches of colors on your shirt. And I'm speaking of my generation where we had the cross colors, where it had these loud ass patches, green, red, orange, blue, and all that over the place. That stuff didn't last for 2 years. So you were outcast for wearing it after those 2 years. Like, we're not wearing that no more, but it still looked good. The black dollar does not survive in the neighborhood. It goes quick. It goes outside the neighborhood. It used to be, and you'll be familiar with this more than Jeremy would. The Black Mall was Evergreen Plaza. It looked totally different than it does now. And then there was the White Mall, Ford City. Then we started going there. And then they just started going elsewhere. They started going further out, and we started going further out. So we was going to River Oaks, we was going to North Riverside, and they was just like, okay, they come in here, we going further, or we're going downtown where, they you can't go down, we can't go down there without them saying, hey, no more than 5 in a group or no more than 4 in a group, and they're watching you like you automatically walking in to steal something. We got to strengthen the black dollar, and it's not a racist remark, but we need, who's going to take care of us but us. Everybody else is looking out for their own. We're not looking out for each other. We're looking out. We're totally on a self mission, and if we can get past that, because somebody has something to give that they won't miss a beat on, but they choose to hoard it for themselves, not support us, not encourage us, not see a great person with a great idea and invest in them. We won't support ourselves, and that's going to be our downfall.
I saw something that's describes perfectly what you said. Um, to start a business, is the meme or the picture was like to start a business is $1,000, and to eat to go out to this restaurant was $1,000, and the response to start a business was that costs too much. But the response to either a restaurant that costs $1,000 was, yeah, I need that. And
and you know, and you know
I
what?
need,
That restaurant that costs $1,000, they're gonna look at you first. They're gonna say, "Do you have reservations?" Damn, he got reservations and we got seats. Shit. Um, we have a new policy. You have to give us a credit card in advance. We got to run the card before you can eat. Yeah, that's how we're gonna get treated at that restaurant for $1,000 when we're scared to invest in ourselves.
what you think, Jeremy? You the quiet one.
Nah, bro. Honestly, bro, I ain't lie to you. I had tuned out. I had a long day. I had tuned. Um, I had a long
Y'all
day,
see,
bro.
Jeremy ain't all that great of a guy.
I tuned
I
out.
look,
I
I dropped
tuned
so much knowledge. I lost 15
out.
pounds, and he just zoning out.
I had a long day,
But
man.
No,
the
no, no,
the the
no. You
whole
know what? We're all busy guys. We
Yeah.
got we got 9 to 5s, and it's not your average 9 to 5, so to say. We got very demanding jobs. So, Jeremy, I totally get it. You bouncing
Yeah.
off of an illness from one. You still on the mend
Yeah.
somewhat, and we got demanding jobs. It's been a long day. I dread having, well, not dread it. I wake up 4:15, 4:30 in the morning, not counting how many times I hit the snooze button, and my day is nonstop, especially when we're recording. That I gotta pick up a meal on the way home just because it's on my route home, just to save time. Because by the time I get home, it's time to record. So I get it. You're allowed to say you're tired. Judge him, y'all. Judge him. Give him the
hey,
side eye.
Yeah.
Hey,
hey,
you got to send comments about his activity, his behavior today to where, Brandon? Our website, WTF, WT Fellas Think at gmail.com. Man, this is deplorable and this needs to be heard. Also, and we got to get better with this. Subscribe to the podcast. This is let's say this is a commercial break. Do you guys feel like we've touched on this subject enough that we can move on to the next thing?
yeah, I think it's we
All
don't
right,
want to make.
so quick roundtable. This is a quick roundtable. We were kind of discussing this early, Brandon. This shouldn't last too long, and then we're going to go into our second major story of this episode 24, the Kobe Bryant edition. What are you most surprised about, or anticipating, or looking forward to? This really goes to Jeremy, but again, Brandon rebut. Far as this NBA season so far, for me, I really been seeing highlights if I catch them. I haven't seen not one full game, not even a quarter of a Heat game yet. I'm not. The only thing I was thrilled about or really looking forward to was Ronnie playing with his dad. How would he perform? How would he be accepted? And I knew he was going to get ran through the ringer, and there's no surprise. If every chance they get to rip into him, they are. But
Yeah.
I think he has control over his ball play, and his ball play has not been impressive. But I'm still rooting for you, Bronny. But that's the only thing I'm really looking for right now. Other than that, then the Heat, I say this is their last year, make or break. Jimmy Butler will be a free agent. He's not going to exercise his extension. He's going to test the market, and I think he's been around long enough that he should have had a championship by now. 2020 season was an opportunity in the bubble. Injuries plagued us throughout the other season, but I really don't have no expectations for them, but to see how it plays out. I'm not a bandwagon guy. I'm still rooting for them, but I have no predictions for the Miami Heat. I'm gonna just go watch and support. And like I say, Bronny is the only thing that I was really looking forward to or really had my attention at the start of the season. What about you guys?
Yeah. So for me, Roy, see, I'm an NBA fan. Like this probably my favorite sport. I have this, and so I'm gonna watch basketball no matter what, no matter what's going on. Every year I'm a tune in some fashion. Um, so, but to be honest, this is the first time that I'm now. It feels like because I started playing like NBA 2K like some years ago, and when it came out with the whole my career like lives type stuff, right? This is the first time that I really think of it as like I really now have somebody who I can watch as a my career player. Like Brian James starting at a level where he really had to build himself, right, to stay afloat. And so now I'm really tuned in to see how is he gonna sink, or what I'm saying, or sail. Like I don't know what he's gonna do, but I feel like he is my real life, my career player. I want to see if he gonna do what he's supposed to, and become better each year, become eventually become an all-star, and see how good he can be, right? So I look at it that way. So I'm really like entertained and seeing how his career progressed. You
Are you
know,
talking about when you
um,
say NBA 2K? You're talking about the video game, right?
the video game, yeah. So the video game is very
So I'm
big
gonna say this with
on my
all
career.
sincerity: where the
Yeah.
fuck do you find time to play video games?
No, I don't. No, the thing is, I don't. But I had it like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? My first time like getting in tune with it, and they had like a my career player, right? So so I'm talking about that, bro. But yeah, so he's not my real life, my career player. I can actually watch and see um how he progressed.
All right, so
So
real quick sidebar,
I'm
then
really
I'll let
into
Brandon
it.
go. So we got a company shutdown that starts on the 23rd and it ends, back on the 2nd. I am looking at buying two video games and starting probably that weekend before the shutdown, playing some video game because I have lost video game time. And I so miss it. It's so relaxing to me. I could wake up one morning, like wake up one Saturday morning. This happened. Wake up one Saturday morning about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm gonna get it 2 hours in, and then I'm playing, and then the sun comes up. I'm like, damn, well, I'm gonna just play for 2 more hours, and then it's 1 o'clock. Then oh shit, all right, one more hour, and it's fucking dark again. I miss those days, and I'm gonna try to relive that during this shutdown.
he gonna he gonna pass out. You know, he
Hey,
gonna
I'm
he
gonna
gonna
look
wake
like
hey,
up.
Rip Van Winkle. I'm gonna be
He gonna
all.
wake up.
hey, hey, Jeremy,
Mama.
you remember that episode of Family Guy where Quagmire discovered internet porn and he came out,
Yeah.
came out the house, world just swole.
He had one big swole arm,
Roy gonna come out the house, hands big as hell, just.
like Ludacris in that video. So, Brandon, what are you looking most forward to, if at all, for this upcoming what is this NBA season?
I'm not really the NBA. I kind of lost interest with so much my team sucking. This sucks. The Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, they've been
We
doing that
just
for years. So why is it just
eh,
not affecting you?
because there's been no changes made to improve really, and that's just like kind of lost my taste. But I am surprised by teams like the Golden State Warriors, uh, Boston, all these teams coming in just being like good. It made the game enjoyable to watch. Like watching them other day, that was a great game. Like and the level of shooting, the level of skill just is like improved. Even like the Knicks are playing right now, they're playing against the Bucks, and they just look like an entirely different team from the beginning of the year. The level of talent, like the level of play, is like starting to slowly get back to what I view basketball as a physical game, and everybody's getting back to that. So that's becoming something that I'm enjoying to watch. So I'm not really looking forward to it, but I am surprised and entertained by it. So that's just me.
So I just want to throw this quick promo out right quick before, because the next subject is very serious, and I don't think I could follow after that with what I got to say. But we got some great shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. On the 13th, we will be recording in honor of November is Men Health Month. I'm gonna have minus Brandon, our doctor, me and Jeremy's doctor, on to talk about what we should be looking out for, what should be doing, and most important, I tell you this: don't ignore the signs. So the 13th is when we're recording. I imagine, give or take 3 or 4 days, it'll be posted that we will again have Men's Health Month on the 13th. And the following week, we'll be doing a follow up to episode 20, I believe, which was called the Brian Jones episode. We had his daughter scheduled to chime in with the other individuals, but due to other unforeseen circumstances, she couldn't. And talking to her after her watching the interview, there's so much more that she wants to add. And one thing I'm real excited to talk about is the relationship that she has with her father. Most times when the male goes to prison, he loses contact, whether it's because they're not around and there's resentment or whatever. But they have such a strong relationship and contact, and she's really fighting hard for her dad. So there's a lot to discuss there, and I can't even imagine what she's going to say, but just hearing what it is, I'm thrilled. I want to know what it is, what the formula is that keeps contact, keeps the bond, keeps the love, whereas most people lose that at some point. So yeah, we got two great episodes coming up next week. I mean, in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to create a short, Brandon, for the upcoming shows. We're going to title it "Upcoming Shows." Stay tuned because our shorts do get a lot of views, and we're trying to change that demographic. That you're so wrapped up with the shorts that you have the time to actually sit through a whole episode. I guarantee you will be entertained. I try my best to be at my silliest, but at the same time be serious about the subjects. So for me, I rewatch them. I hate hearing my voice, but I want to see where I need to improve. And I think a lot of people feel that same way too. That's another subject. But I'm at work and I don't have to see us. I can hear us. So I can play it on YouTube and I can be working on whatever Microsoft screen or, sitting in a meeting with my mic off and still listen to the shows too. Oops, did I say that? But yeah, our goal is to increase viewers, not just for ego, but we got a lot to say, and I don't want to make it sound like I expect the worst of these guys, but sometimes no, seriously, and that's honest. Sometimes I'm really impressed with what you guys have to say. Even when Brandon, when you get angry and it shows, I joke
I
about it,
like that.
but it
Yeah, I like
shows
that.
how vested you are in it. And again, this was your idea. We thank you for coming up with this idea, and this couldn't be a better title for our show. What the fellas think, because nothing's watered down. I'm not doing nothing for the camera. Yes, I'm really this silly in real life. This is not an act. This is not a character. You know, for the real listeners, let me be serious for a moment. Wink, wink. Okay, I got more of that coming on too. So yeah, more great episodes coming up. And now we're gonna go into our final episode. I mean, a final segment of the show. We just had here. We are based in Chicago. We had another Chicago cop killing that occurred this week. It's senseless. It's pointless, but yet we want to talk about it. At the end of the day, this cop is not going to go home to his family. He had plans for tomorrow. Those plans are gone. Routine stop. It was something just not right that he pulled them over with, and he was met with violence. The the passenger, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, because you read more about this. It was the front seat passenger that opened fire on the police officer. The police officer returned fire, killing the driver. And the third person that was at the rear was actually asleep during the exchange and woke up. And his first impulse was to run. So you got more details. So I'm just going to pass this off to you. And I know the
Well,
last time I had the cop shooting, I had a theory, and I turned out to be ass wrong. So right now I'm just being sympathetic with the loss of a life. I know a
mm,
lot of people involved in the police community, whether they have siblings or children that's in law enforcement. I know a lot of great guys in law enforcement, and I'm happy that they're still around doing what they're doing in the streets. But don't let me get too wrapped up because I could keep going on and on. Brandon, take it over.
well, I don't want to replay the facts. We know that the passenger shot this cop, and the cop was, from the video I've seen, wasn't really one of those cops that's like an aggressive cop or causing anything. He was doing a routine traffic stop and unfortunately lost his life. And it's a sad time in the city. And I know a lot of our first responders feel like they're not loved. People hate cops. I know myself. I when I have a situation, my first thought is not even to call cops. I know from my own, just my own thoughts. I handle situations on my own, but I don't know that's a bad habit to have. But it's no disrespect to cops. It's just how I am. I was always raised to just handle situations on my own. But to any first responders out there, I want to say from our audience or from us here, you are loved. You are welcome. Like no one wants the violence to happen on either side, whether it's innocent black life or police life. You want everybody to go home safely and to be a safe environment. To me, that's the topic I want to discuss with this. I know I don't want to bring up the death, but I want to ask what the fellas think when it comes to first responders. I don't know the climate right now is to feel like they're not loved. Like you said, that you hear it in rap music, you hear it in rap songs, calling them 12. Like we don't call 12. We don't talk to 12. We don't
I
participate with
still
12.
don't understand that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. What do y'all think?
unfortunately, I get into the West Coast slang when they say 5-0 or one time. I it's like I totally get it, but I don't get 12.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they do that.
Police officers get a hard rap. Uh,
Mm.
you take the policeman as a whole and you break it down in half. Yeah, you do have some bad seeds, and those bad seeds kind of become the representatives of the police force as a whole. Like I said, I know good cops. I know, they just want to protect and serve. It's a family tradition to them. I know guys third, fourth generation police officers. Um, yes, you do have the ones that got bullied in their former life, and now they feel like they can take control, and they harass you, they beat you, serve, protect, and break a nigga's neck. So that's what they do. But they're not the whole representative of the police force as a whole. And I don't know if you guys remember, there was a point in time where they were shooting at ambulance drivers. Out of all the first responders, they got to be the most harmless ones. They're just here to help the wounded or sick or whatever. Why are they getting shot at? They're not armed.
They
And
think
I'm
it's
not.
GTA, bro. You ever seen GTA? GTA when they come help them up. You know what I'm saying? So no, they think it's
Hey
GTA,
Brandon,
bro.
do not
They're
edit
right
this
up there.
shit. I want them to see Jeremy.
they
This is
think
the
it's
real.
GTA.
but I think the most disgusting thing I've seen when it comes to
Yeah.
first responder, and I maybe the facts about this, but it was a funeral and the police called because they're having a disturbance, and a whole gang like came in and took the casket out and the body out, and I'm like, really? Like, like that's
Officer was a civilian or officer? Who
it
you
was
say?
civilian.
Okay,
Civilian. There was some type of dispute, and the police was called. They just came and took the body out, and
It was rival gang members that did that, that ran in
yeah,
and walked off with the body. What they did with it, I don't know. I saw the video. I do remember seeing that. And that's like probably the second most vilest thing that you can do outside of, just tipping it over and walking away. They ran outside with it. They took it and I don't know if they took it outside and just dropped it, or they had a vehicle they could put it in and go do whatever. I don't know what became of that incident, but that's some vile shit. You got the mother, you got relatives sitting there, and all of a sudden a crowd come in and they videotaping themselves doing it too. Taking the body out. That's some vile shit.
yeah. And
But
I'm
this is the
just
world
thinking
we live
like,
in now.
there's no more standard really or morals, right? Like that's the thing, right? And I know a lot of first responders feel like they're not loved in this city because of this. Because gang culture will tell you, rap songs will tell you situations like that where people come and disrespect the funeral. There's no boundary they won't cross. And like that's the thing. And I know cops deal with this a lot. And I myself have been pulled over by cops, and I'm like, "Why are you pulling me over? Why? Got to deal with you today." I'm guilty of that, but I understand they got a job to do and all that. But
Look,
it's
my
never.
middle name, when it comes to that, my middle name is Comply. As a teenager, nobody had to tell me. It just automatically kicked in. I was driving one night and I got pulled over by the police. And this is before I had power windows. I pulled over, put the emergency lights on, put the interior lights on. I leaned over, rolled down the passenger side windows. I was in the car by myself. Then I rolled down my windows, and then I put my hands on the steering wheel.
Stop
That
reaching.
that was
Stop
that
reaching.
was that was automatic defense. Nobody never told me to do that. I just did it because I figured it was the safest thing to do to make them as comfortable as possible. And even so, when they said your license, I told them which pocket it was in and do I have permission to get it. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable as fuck. I did everything short, but baked them some cookies. You know, I didn't want to be one of those accidents. And
My
9 times out of 10, and there are cases when I'm not gonna say nine, maybe 7 out of 10 times we get pulled over. We did do some shit. We didn't stop at the stop sign or stop before we made that right turn, or we did run a red light, or we were speeding. So be accountable of your actions. You knew you was wrong. Uh, One thing I don't have to worry about is a red light camera. In my vehicle right now, I got the serious thing, and it tells me, "Oh, red light camera approaching." I'm like, "Shit, I don't plan on running a red light anyway." I'm not too much of in a hurry to do that to run a red light because there's just somebody eager to take advantage of that green light. So what? I create an accident. No, I don't need to know about red light cameras. I just
Yeah.
know that I'm not supposed to run red lights. I think that's like probably one of the most stupidest things that you got to get alerted that there's a red light camera in the area. You shouldn't have to know that there's a red light camera in the area. You should know that you have to stop at a red light. Now, yellow light, you got the choice to either slow down and wait for the red or speed up. That's a given. But red light is red light. You stop. Especially if you haven't even crossed the line yet and it turns red, but you're like, damn, whatever minuscule reason is, it can't wait. I'm gonna run this red light. And yet, man, y'all always fucking with. No, you shouldn't have run the red light. Most of the time, the consequences are based on the actions that you take. So don't get mad when, 9 times out of 10 you don't get caught, but that 10th time you do get caught. It's not their fault. They're doing their job. Again, a red light camera is common fucking sense. It shouldn't be, well, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be there. You know you got to stop at a red light.
well, my thing is with that type of situation. I've been that person too before. I'll be like, man, forget that. I go, forget that red light. And I've been doing that. I've done that. No, not been doing that, but I've done that before. But in that instance, I've never been pulled over either. But I have made the no turn on red and turn and been pulled over. I've seen situations where cops are like shaking coming up to the cop, and me being in the car, just me. But my thing is, great advice has always been told to me by my sister and my uncle. Your job in that situation is to make it home. So make the cop make it home, and I make it home. That's a great situation. Cool. I'm not. That's why I don't even carry because I am a licensed gun owner. I don't even carry my gun in my car or on my person because of that. Because I don't want any situation to create an unsafe situation where I'm pulled over by a police officer and he sees a gun on my hip or print of my gun or anything like that, and it becomes a nervous situation. Because nervous people make mistakes. They make mistakes, and that's
Nervousness
why.
turns into fear. Fear turns
Yeah,
into unwarranted reactions. So yeah,
exactly. That's my saying. When I get pulled over by a cop, job is to make it home. So I let you know I roll the windows down both sides. You can clearly see me. My hands are visible. Before I make a move, I tell you where I'm moving. You want my license? It's in my front pocket. I'm reaching with my left hand. I do all this. This is the procedures in that situation. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people in this world feel like, why do I got to do this? Why I got to make him feel comfortable? because he's in that situation. Sometimes he's just as nervous as you, just as scared as you. And the good cops don't want to kill anybody, don't want to hurt anybody. And then if you put him in a situation where he feels like he has to, like unfortunately this cop, Officer Martinez, was feeling, I'm sure felt that way in that situation, telling him don't reach, stop reaching, stop reaching. Felt that
You
way in that
also had
situation.
a gentleman, the shooter. He was supposed to be on ankle monitoring, but he removed his ankle monitor,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a modified handgun. Flip a switch to make it a fully automatic. Two things that should not have happened. If you're on house arrest, stay your ass in the house. The other alternative is if you didn't stay in the house, you'd probably be in jail. And I know you don't want to be in jail. You should be happy that you were allowed to go home. You should ain't nothing that important that if it was something, oh, it's a family member, I'll fuck this. I'll take the case, but I got to go to my family member. But no, he cut it off because he didn't feel like being tracked, like he had an option, so to say. And a converted firearm. What are you fucking Al Capone? Are you wanted? Then you should have been staying in the house. You shouldn't have to walk around with an illegally converted firearm.
Well,
And
that's the cool thing out of the day. You know, people want to have switches, all these automatic weapons, and all this stuff that people want to have, and can't even. I hate to say this, but like 90% of the population can't fight. 90% of the population can't shoot either. like, like that is like you shouldn't have something you don't know how to use, or you think this is a video game and that's what you use it for. I see all the time people on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok got the gun like this, doing doing
waving it,
this, doing this, and I'm like, regular gun safety. If that goes off, you over with,
right?
over with, blow your
Hey
Real
own head
fellas,
off.
hey fellas,
responsible.
hey, I feel like I'm listening to you guys, and I feel like this conversation is gearing to like we speaking to the guys with the gun. Um,
Mhm.
I don't want y'all to forget like there was actually two passengers who didn't decide to die that day, and their friend took their life as well as the officer. And I was just thinking, listen to you guys that seeing things like this is going to push the agenda of the immunity because that's only going to be one step towards of giving them more funding, giving them more power to
Justifying
to
it.
to to police us, right? So um seeing stuff like this is heart aching because I know I'm thinking what it's going to lead to, and like I said, it's going to lead to them pushing that agenda. And it's unfortunate, but two men, I believe, in the car, right? They lost their lives, and they had no decision about it.
No, no,
He
one lost
didn't
their
pull a gun,
life.
so one lost their lives. So
Yeah.
yeah, he um,
Well,
I can't speak. I can't speak.
two men did lose their life. Driver
The
and the
cop,
officer.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
Yeah, well,
passenger was the
the
assailant,
passion.
and the
Yeah,
person in the back seat was just an innocent bystander. And I'm really curious, and I want to follow this to see if
yeah.
he catches a charge, because the man was asleep. Yeah, he did get up
Mm.
and run. Maybe in a situation like that, you would probably run too. But I really want to see what fleeing the scene of a crime. That's probably the worst thing that get to him. But I'm going to watch closely to see what they stick him with.
So who ran? The guy in the back seat ran.
Yes, the one that
He
was
was
asleep.
asleep. Yeah, he was asleep. Yeah,
Mm.
that's just yeah.
So imagine, and this has happened to us, where we're in a nice, real good sleep, and whoever starts shaking us to wake us up. You're like, huh, huh, what the fuck? That's basically what his reaction was after he heard gunshots, multiple gunshots, because the passenger fired with the automatic, and then the police officer returned fire. Tell me that wouldn't shock the shit out of you too, and you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? But I really don't see in my eyes that he should be charged with anything. But we'll see.
What
It depends on his record because the guy who shot who he was a felon, right? Yeah, so depending on the guy in the backseat record, he definitely will get in trouble.
what I want to ask you, Jeremy,
Yeah.
what makes you think this would push the immunity, because how would immunity solve this particular situation?
Because it just shows a cop dying in line of duty because the way he approached the scene. So it's going to give them more leeway how to approach vehicles in that way, right? And then also I think it's gonna start with that aspect. A police died on duty. How can we prevent this? Okay, I mean more funding, better training, more troops out there, which means higher pay rates to get people to come in, right? And also more authority, right? So they're gonna give them. You can't give them one thing. I give them the whole book. So that I think seeing any cop die in this time, definitely when Trump in office, any reason of cop dying line duty is gonna help give more power to police, and that's gonna give the entire book of it, not just one piece. That's why I say
I
that.
I know I see where your line of questioning is coming from, Jeremy. I mean, Brandon. Why would you get him more immunity? I get that, and Jeremy, I get your point too. He's going to be in charge of distributing funds, and I could definitely see law enforcement getting a budget increase, whether it be insurance or hiring more officers, whatever it is. There is going to be money pumped into the law enforcement community.
Do you know the our Chicago Police Department? The recent budget is $2.2 billion, and
Well,
to me, I think this would gear towards more of a policy change, like having multiple officers on the scene in those type of stops at night, then more geared towards more of the immunity side of things. Just from my thinking, I think their
But
policies would change to
with
say
it, with
there's
this situation in itself, I don't see how that would help. You bringing in more officers, his trigger finger would have been more itchy because he know he was dead ass in the whole situation. I think that'd probably be just another cop. It'd be two cops being buried instead of one. And I might be wrong, but I see more. He saw one and he was like, "Oh shit." But if you see two, then it's gonna be a bigger oh shit, goddamn, what the fuck.
but just like more eyes on it. Like if you're observing something, right? If there's seven eyes on it, everybody sees something different. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's how projects go. But if you got seven eyes on a scene, one officer is gonna see that before he even gets it out of his waist or out of his shoe or from under the seat,
You
wherever
gotta
you
you
got
got
it
you
from.
you, you gotta
and
get up on them first. I'm
yeah,
Yeah.
not saying in some cases that they wouldn't be able to do that, but there'll be some cases where it'll be too late because he's gonna see them coming up.
yeah. And Brent, I just want to add on to that, and why I feel like the immunity is also a part is because with the immunity there, they actually put more funding back in the police officers' pocket, right? So now they can pay for them extra police officers out there. I think they're going to use this as a full circle, not just this, but like things like this as a full circle because to have more funding, that means you can get it by saying you can't get sued as much no more, right? So it's like I know the silvers is not just for the police officer who did the act. It's for him and also the academy behind him, right? So I
Mhm.
think stuff like this. This is why I say that. You give them, they're gonna give them the whole book instead of just one packet of it, and that's more power, that's more funding, more training, which bring more people in there with higher race. You know, that's why I think that.
Well, I mean, I'm really scared of the immunity part of things. That's just
Yeah,
why I say what I say. I hope it's just more of a
yeah,
policy thing, because of to really to me, and I don't know the exact details of their budget, but $2 billion
yeah.
for a city, as big as Chicago may not be enough, may be more than enough. But that's a lot of money to throw at
It
one
depends.
police
It
department.
depends on. It depends on how many people you have active, right? How many people
Mhm.
you're paying. I don't sure if that money is part of the pension or is something. I don't know how they divide it, but it depends on how big their force is. The new cars they need or the new police lights or the cameras they put up. You know what I'm saying? Like it all depends. And think about it. Like one incident can be a $10 million like payout. You got to pay somebody $10 for one thing. It's happening all the time. So that with 2 billion go quick plus salaries. You see what I'm saying?
And
So
Chicago's been seeing a lot of
a
payoffs
lot.
for wrongfully
Hmm.
accused people.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to try to really fight these because they're losing their ass having to pay out
Yeah.
these wrongfully accused innocent men. They're going to try to, become more ironclad. Like, okay,
And that's why I just want to add one more thing, and that's why I'm leaning towards I don't know if the immunity is really only a Republican mindset because I don't hear any other Democrat denounce it. They never went against it, right? So if you're not going against it and you're a politician, you're with it. You don't preach about it. You don't say we're not doing that because I think across the board they all want that because it helps their funding,
well,
right?
we label the Republican Party in a certain way, and uh, and one of those words that we use to describe them is racist. There's a lot of racist Democrats too. We got to realize that too. It's not just with one party.
Yeah.
So they can share the same ideology. You can be from a different background, but share the same ideology. So at the end of the day, there's racist Democrats as well. So I want to share with you guys a quick story, and I'm almost positive I shared this story with you before, but I want to share it with the public. Uh, when I was married, I was living on the west side of Chicago, and I was coming home late one night on Division Street. I was kind of in the cross area between where Oak Park ends and it goes back into the city. So as I'm driving, I was driving a white Ford Explorer. I just noticed, because I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm looking in my rearview mirror. I see this car just dipping and dodging out of traffic with no lights on. And I'm saying to myself, this asshole, what is he doing? It's fucking stupid. So he continues trying to get closer. I'm guess my mindset is he's in a rush. He's trying to get to point B. But he kept dipping inside of traffic every chance he get with his lights out. Then at a point, once he got behind me, they turned their lights on, and it turned out to be the Chicago police. And I'm just thinking, okay, I'm in the way. I'm gonna pull over and get out the way. They turn on their lights. They were specifically targeting me to pull me over. Now, let's pause the story right there. Uh, and I'm sure Brandon can probably understand this a lot more because you grew up somewhere else, further downstate Illinois, and I don't know if it was the same, but there's like
Oh,
huh?
I grew up in the middle of Inglewood,
He
No,
was
south
saying
side
I'm
of
me.
talking
He
about
was
I'm
Chicago.
saying
talking
me.
about Jeremy.
He was
Oh,
saying
okay.
me.
So
Yeah.
our South Sider's opinion about the West Side is pretty much the same. We don't trust each other. So if I have to go on the West Side, I'm on my guard. I'm like, cause these motherfucking West Side motherfuckers. And if the West Side people have to go on the South Side, they feel the same way. So me living over there after growing up on the South Side, I didn't trust nobody. Even growing up on my wife's block where she knew people, it was just these are West Side motherfuckers. I don't trust them. So I was a legal gun owner. I bought a gun legal. We didn't have concealed carry then. And it's just in me, I don't trust these motherfuckers. Every morning I walked out the door with my work bag and my pistol. I would put my pistol in my glove compartment and go about my day. Sometimes I would purposely carry it in the house open just so they could see it and let them know that motherfucker crazy. That's the perception I was trying to
Damn.
do. That one morning, the one morning, I'm running late. I ran out. I pull off, and I said, "Damn, I ain't got my pistol." And I had the option to turn around and go get it. I went too far. I'm like, "Oh fuck it." So let's fast forward back to that story where I got pulled over by the police. A shooting had occurred, and the description was a white Ford Explorer. So here they are. Somebody saw mine. They're like, hey, Smokey and the Bandit. We got the red tail. The Smokey heading east on Division. So they're following me. They pulled me over, and I had power windows now, so I windows down, interior lights on, hands on the hood. Hey, what's going on? They were like, where you coming from? I said, I'm coming from work. They said, where do you work at? I told them where I worked at. They said, well, the reason we're stopping you is there was a shooting not too far from here, and the description was given a white Ford Explorer. So you don't have a problem with us searching your car? I said, no, not at all. That's the day I forgot my pistol. Real talk. That was the same day. By fate, I forgot. Now, they'd have saw the pistol and they'd have got up and roar, but they'd have did their ballistics and everything, but like, this gun was never fired. But nevertheless, I had a pistol in my possession, which was sort of kind of illegal back then.
Have it loaded. Yeah.
And it was loaded, one
It's
in the
loaded,
chamber, all that
yeah.
good stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Loaded, one in the chamber, everything. Yeah. And my life would have been a whole lot different had I had that pistol in my car. I probably would have never met you guys.
Never.
I would have had a record, and I would
Mm.
have never gotten the government job that I had because of that conviction. Y'all have probably saw me on the news robbing a liquor store. Like, damn, that was a crazy motherfucker. But that one occurrence could have changed my life. I would have never got my government job.
Man,
I would have never met you guys. I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I would probably be alive, but I would probably be playing a serious game of catch up. And this was over 15 years ago. I would still be playing catch up over the time that I lost. Because at the end of the day, I had a pistol that I shouldn't have been carrying, and I would have did time for it. And who's to say what could have happened behind those cells doors that would have changed my outlook on life, or if I'd have hung myself. So every action has a reaction. You got to be conscious of what you're doing. So he was conscious enough to cut off his ankle bracelet, monitoring blanket, and to be walking around with a modified pistol. He was looking for trouble.
I think
And I think, in every situation when something happens to me, because I got past the point of point and blame, you know, later, in my early part of my life, and I would stop and say, what part did I have to play in this? You know what? Mama told me to stay in the house, but I went outside anyway. If I'd have listened to her, this, that, and the third wouldn't have happened to me. I should have listened to her. That was my warning. That was God speaking out to me, but I chose not to listen. So at the end of the day, our actions have a reactions. Whether he said it in his head, he was looking for trouble.
yeah, that's the thing, and it's unfortunate that the officer had to lose his life because of a sick individual.
Oh,
That's
and he
why
has to have it on his conscience that he killed his friend basically. His
I don't
actions
think he.
killed his friend.
I don't even think he cared for that. I don't even think he cared for that. The way he looked, the way he responded, I don't even think he cared for that. But it's the thing that officers and first responders in the city do want them to feel love because it ain't the majority that want to hurt you. It's the minority that want to hurt you, and not minorities. I mean the small group of
The
bad
small portion
individuals.
of the police force,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a small group. My thing with that, and I've had stories too, Roy, and I'm gonna share this quick one, and it'll probably be our last little bit here. But I had a situation where my sewage had backed up, and I called a plumber over here, and then my brother-in-law had a little tool or whatever to help, get the snake down into my drainage. So I race over to my brother-in-law house. I mean, I literally speeding, blowing stop signs, all that, driving reckless. And then as I get the little thing from my brother-in-law, uh, I like just call him my brother, yeah, brother at this point. But I go get it, and I'm racing back to the house, running stop signs, and out of nowhere I see this car, no lights on, like your situation, up on my ass. I'm like, the hell going on? So y'all know me, I'm on defense quick. So I'm like, okay, let me see if he follow. I hit the blinker. He ain't do nothing. He ain't hit his blinker. So I shut my blinker off. And I literally purposely run through a stop sign. He's still on my ass. So like, oh he is following. So I hit the turn real hard. I just hit it hard. Like not even no indication. I just hit the turn hard. Then it turned on the light. And I mean our cars are like this at this point. Then he turns on the lights when I hit that turn. And I'm like, why didn't you just turn on the lights back then in my mind? I'm thinking like, what the hell are you trying to pull here? And the officer get up, they have the bright lights because it's at night. I can't see anything, just the
Hmm.
lights, no indication of. but I see the flashing lights of the police lights. So I let all the windows down, do my little routine, get my hands visible and all that. He gets up on me. The first thing is out of his mouth was like, "We just trying to make the neighborhood safe, for the kids and stuff. That's all." And I'm like, "Okay, what they got to do with me?" I ain't say that verbally. I was in my head, "What they got to do with me?" I'm looking though, like, what they got to do with me? And he's like, "You ran a stop sign back there." Okay, that's I saw, and I didn't respond to him, but I'm like, I saw you up on me, like you were up on me, and that's why I ran the stop sign because I thought you were following me, and I didn't say
In a
that.
threatening way where it could have
Yeah,
been defensive, like you
yeah,
thinking somebody trying to
yeah,
jack you.
yeah. That's what I felt. The officer asked for my ID. I'm like, okay, it's in my front pocket. I'm gonna reach with my left hand, give you my ID. The other officer flashes the light on my lap. So he sees me reaching in my pocket. I pull out my ID, give it to him, no problem. But the other officer saw, I don't know how they saw it, but they saw my concealed carry in there. And he asked me, do you have your gun on you? And I'm like, no. And he's like, are you sure? And he like leans over. Are you sure you don't have your gun on? And I look, no, I don't have my gun on. And that whole little short exchange, he goes back like, oh, checks the car, takes them probably 10, 12 minutes. I'm sitting there.
Oh, they searched the car?
No, they didn't search. They didn't search.
Oh, okay, okay,
But
okay,
10, 12 minutes, I'm sitting there as they checking me, I guess, running my information.
okay.
And I'm like, okay,
You
what's
should just have
going
the
on?
motherfucking mayor.
What's going on? And comes back, says, are you good to go? And he's like, we weren't following you home or nothing. Because my address is on my thing, and I'm like 2, 3 blocks from my house. Because I made a turn because I don't want them, if they were following me, I didn't want them to think like, oh, this is my house. And he's like, oh, you weren't following me. And I'm like, oh, they weren't following me. That's what he said. And I'm like, well, okay. It was a whole weird exchange for me. And that's why I was like, oh man, what was y'all on? Like, what was this? And it made me think like in that situation, this could have gone entirely different had I responded. What would happen if I said I had my gun on me, what's in the car, like that type of situation. And that's why I brought this story up, because I'm like, I could have had an attitude, and suddenly I was thinking in my head, why the F are you following me? And I'm like, if I said that, they could have responded this way, that way. But my whole goal, like I said, I'm gonna make it home, they make it home, and we good to go.
Like, dude, I got
That's
shit coming out of my
yeah.
toilet. I'm trying to stop it, man. You slowing me up.
Yeah, but had I responded differently, the situation could have gone different. That was my thing of bringing that up though. But
See, I think yeah, that happens all the time, man. And the fact that he didn't know who in the car, I can see that happening. I'll make it real quick. I had a situation. I'm in LA, like downtown LA, and I'm on a date actually. I'm on a date, and I'm walking the strip, and next thing I know, you know how you walking, it's not crowded, but it's some people out there,
So let me
and
slow right quick before I'm really
hey, go
sorry.
ahead.
You were
Hey,
on the strip on a date.
on a date,
Sounds
hear me out,
suspect.
hear me out. On the,
what do you
LA, downtown LA,
That was
downtown
that was,
LA.
that was
So
my little
the
joke.
how
That
do
was
like
my little
the
joke.
like so I'm downtown LA, and it's daytime though. It's not nighttime, it's daytime. So I'm walking, and you know how you walk is not busy, but you can feel somebody walking on your shoe, right? So I'm walking, and then I feel like my shoe, like somebody walking on my shoe. I turn around, I see nobody there. So the girl right, she right by me, she close, and so I keep walking. Then it happened again. I turned around other way, I seen nobody. That's weird. Now I'm saying this time my shoe almost came no, so it almost came off. So I'm like, okay, I turn around, start walking again. On the third time, my shoe came off, and as I turned around all the way this time, a police officer basically like jammed in my face. You got a problem? I say, I say, what? He said, yeah, you got a problem? He put his hands on me, bro, and pushed me to the wall. I can't make it up. And she wasn't pretty much from America, right? So she was like kind of like screaming, going berserk, and like I couldn't believe like you know what I'm saying what's happening, like you know what I'm saying, like, and depending on my reaction, luckily it was like daytime and people around, nothing really happened, but that made me think like it could have went one or two ways. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he actually seen me walk in the strip, like he literally profiled me. It wasn't like you can say unmarked car or you know what I'm saying. Like he literally seen me, see me walking, probably seen my skin tone, and he targeted me. You know what I'm saying? Like and I just thought that was the craziest thing I ever seen in my life. Like, and I'm like me out of all people. You know what I'm saying? I'm so far civilian left. You know what I'm saying? Like me out of all people.
I thought you was gonna share
It
the
was just
story
weird.
about when they drew on you.
Yeah, in Philadelphia. Yeah, I wasn't gonna share that, but that happened to me too. When I was in Philadelphia and they
Wasn't gonna
jumped out
share
of
that
SWAT.
until you said something. Thank you, Elroy. So this
Yeah,
is what happened.
yeah. So
I
Well,
was I, I was
I make it real
pissing on
quick.
the Rocky statue,
Nah,
minding my own business.
I make it real quick. So I'm in downtown Philadelphia. I'm at a Cheesecake Factory, and it's about 9 p.m. You know, I'm by myself because I was on there for work. So I go to leave. I call me an Uber. The Uber says 10 minutes away. So around like 3 minute mark when I see my phone at 3 minutes away, I go outside. And I'm on side because it's downtown, so you know how it's normally on a corner. So I cut the corner where I'm basically got my back now against the wall of the cheesecake, and I'm seeing like cop cars, I mean cop lights and sirens going off everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, what's going on? I'm just chilling. I'm on my phone, just waiting for my Uber. So as I'm seeing my Uber driver approaching, so I get ready to get my bag, get ready to go to the get ready as he come. I can see him coming down, but I see in the distance by like two stops away from my Uber driver, I see cop lights, and they come like flying in my direction behind the Uber driver. So they actually swerve past the Uber driver, and so I'm like, oh dang, something going on over here, right? I'm about to go home. It's 9 p.m. I need to go get to the crib because it's getting crazy out here. So the car is coming. It drove past me. Boom. As I'm watching the cop go past me, I'm looking towards the left. Another like a black SUV pulled up and stopped, and all doors open up, and they all hop out with guns on me. And I'm like, what the? So I'm thinking they finna go past me, but they looking at me. So they saying something. I can't really catch it real quick, right? Until they get to me. And when they get to me, they threw me to the wall, and it was like so I hear his whatever you call it, his what do you call it again? His not speaker, what do you call it?
Walkie
The
talkie.
police walkie talkie. I hear walkie talkie, and it's like oh, we looking for black male 6'4". I look at him, I say, bro, and it said 6'4", it said 6'4" with red shoes. I say, bro, I only got the red shoes part, bro. But I'm kind of like mad a little bit, but he's like, oh, I'm sorry. So they all put their guns down, hop in the car, and disappear. I'm like, bro, can you imagine like if I had my headphones on, whatever I want to listen, walking away, hands in the pocket, anything, bro? But I'm like, how do y'all mess that up? Like, how do you how do you mess
Especially if y'all
like
really
two
see
different
Jeremy in
descriptions?
person, he is not 6'4".
Yeah, like how do you, bro? How do you mix up two different descriptions like that? And that could have been in my life.
All they
It
saw was
sound it
black.
sound
They saw
it
black
sound
and red,
minor, but
black
it
skin,
sound
red
minor, but
shoes.
you know what
That's
I'm
all they
saying?
saw.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, and don't you
the-
miss them days before the per diem? You said Cheesecake Factory. You can't do that on the per diem now, can you?
hey, hey,
Yeah,
all these incidents or
yeah,
incidents, you wanna call them that, just make you like weary of the police. But there are good. I want to say this though, we've had some bad experiences, we had some good experiences,
yeah.
but it from this platform, there's no hatred for cops. It's just we know the situation. We know some are bad, some are good. We hope to come across all the good ones, and with the bad ones, we trying to make it home, and we make sure y'all make it home. That's all. That's all. We think we ain't trying to. I know it's bad people out there that want to hurt police, but we ain't a part of it. Just want to throw that out there. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, again another great episode. I feel proud of this one, like so many of the other past episodes. We just touched on two subjects. What's going to affect our lives, both which are going to affect our lives. You heard different points of views, some valid points. We didn't agree with everything, but at the end of the day, that's what the fellas think is not what we think is one is what we think as individuals. And I've said plenty of times, if you can go against me on the subject and you can support enough facts, you probably there's a possibility of converting me. And I listen to everybody's um, point of view because there's something valid in everything that's being said. Sometimes 50-50 with Brandon because Brandon in his eyes is never wrong. We got to argue with this guy, man.
Hey,
The
hey,
things
you
we
know
used
what?
to argue about, or
You know
I
what?
would sit back and listen to them argue about. No, I'm just joking. At the end of the day, no, we all have different points of views. I felt the uh, the entertainment aspect of what they dipped into in the Democrat was not a great idea. I could see why they did it, trying to appeal to a certain crowd. I just think it was a drop the ball moment. I think there's more people we could have reached out to stand besides Kamala. And not saying that that's the reason why. That's just one of my outtakes of what I think should have been done different. I'm
Hey,
basically a Monday morning quarterback.
hey,
I'm seeing it without the facts
I'm,
after
I'm
the
gonna
fact.
say it. I'm gonna say this. Uh, Unless it's Brittany Griner, we agree on mostly everything.
So you think
Yeah,
she's
look,
innocent, huh?
look inside joke, inside joke.
No, I'm sure they know about it. If not, write us at WTFellasThink at gmail.com and say, hey Elroy, what does this think about Brittany Griner? I will tell you. I will not forcibly bring it up on my own, but if you ask, I will share it with you.
Hey, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. We hope y'all enjoy. I hope we inspire some thoughts from y'all. Gain some interest from you. So like, comment, and subscribe. We look forward to hearing from.
That's right. Until next time.